104.5 The Team, your home for New York Yankees baseball. Our good friend Buster Olney joins us right now. Buster, were you shocked that Mr. Met would flip the bird to Mets fans?
I tell you what, if there's some unwritten rules for mascots, that would be in there someplace, right? Among all the things you don't do if you're a team mascot is to flip people off, and not only flip people off. I mean, he had the double obscene gesture. It was impressive, and the Mets have come out and said that the employee who is wearing the Mr. Met uniform is not going to be doing that anymore. That doesn't matter. This is going to hang on Mr. Mets forever. Whoever is in that uniform, that person is always going to hear it. Hey, you going to flip me off now? And if I'm the Mets and I'm Mr. Met, whoever's wearing that today, I'm passionately arguing to play off to it the next time that person's wearing a uniform. Wearing that costume and do something and just have fun with it, to make fun of the situation. Because, man, that was classic. The other thing, too, is you wondered, as you saw that, you like the Mr. Met is flipping off fans. Was that Terry Collins underneath there? Was that Sandy Alderson? Was that Noah Syndergaard? I'm stealing somebody else's joke. Noah Syndergaard, when someone asked him to take an MRI, something. There's got to be a lot of backstory to that one.
I love it. Buster Olney with us right now, 104.5 Team. Aside from that, and even though it was a rough night on the diamond for the Mets last night, I feel like there's hope at Citi Field all of a sudden.
I would agree with you that there is some hope, and part of it is because the Nationals haven't really run away and hid the way maybe we expected them to after watching them for the first 6 weeks. They've kind of been slogging along, and in the last 5 days, they win a series in Pittsburgh. They get a nice performance out of Harvey. We were there for Sunday Night Baseball, and he looked good. Robert Gsellman looks like he's going to help them out. He bounced back. I know Jacob deGrom wasn't good last night, but on top of that, they're hitting the ball really well. They got a lineup that's generating a lot of power. And, as long as the Nationals aren't running away with the National League East, then, yeah, I agree with you. There is some hope.
Buster, it's rare when I lead with the Yankees question here instead of Levac, but it's become unbearable. I mean, Headley has a bad game, or Didi. Levac's telling me it doesn't matter. Gleyber Torres is on the way, riding in on the white horse. Tell me, or at least tell Levac to calm down, and it's not going to be that good when this guy arrives.
Calm down, Levac. It's not going to be that good right off the bat, okay?
Thank goodness, Buster.
I'm sorry, my headphones weren't working. What'd you say?
See, here's the thing, is that I know this, too, that if Torres, got called up and he went like 0 for 25, Levac would be calling for him to be traded back to the Cubs, right?
That's right.
I mean, that's the reality of it. Look, this is a front burner option for them. At some point, I do think he's going to get called up. I think it'll be sometime before the All-Star break. When you talk to folks around the team, when you talk to other players, they think that Torres is a guy who's going to have impact. And I think that, if you want to see an instructional manual for how to handle younger players, just look at the Cubs in recent years with Kyle Schwarber, Wilson Contreras. They call them up like in June, and then they give them the opportunity to sort of cut their teeth so that there's a comfort level once the team reaches the postseason. And I do think he's going to play some kind of a role, whether he's a 10th man Ben Zobrist type guy, or is he going to be more than that if Chase Headley doesn't start to hit? And everybody you talk to absolutely believes he's going to be able to handle the transition to the big leagues.
That's you calmed me and then fired me right back up. You see, like that was it was. I'm on a roller coaster of emotions all of a sudden, Buster. Buster Olney with us. Buster, last night Tanaka looks pretty much terrible out there. Is there room? Or should we start really being concerned about Tanaka?
I'd say yes. I do think so. He and I can't remember the time frame for this statistic. I'm sure you guys have seen it. That he now, this year, has 3 starts in which he's allowed 7+ earned runs in a game. He had 0 coming into this year. And he's getting hit around, and his stuff is flat. And there are a couple of people I've asked in the organization, hey, what do you see going on with Tanaka? And the answers back are a little scary. I don't know. We don't know what the situation is. It's not like they know for sure exactly why he's been down, but it's so interesting because when the spring training started, the stories are being written. Will Tanaka opt out of his contract? And now the question is, why would he opt out of his contract? Because he's been that bad. And I think with Chance Adams pitching so well in the Yankee system, they do have they go a layer deep in terms of starting pitching, but I think Tanaka's struggles maybe nudges them in the direction of making a move for a guy like Sonny Gray, like a Jose Quintana if he bounces back, or maybe Garrett Cole.
Can Gleyber Torres pitch?
Well, if I'm listening to you every day, then not only can he pitch, he could probably run for president. He could, solve peace in the Middle East. He could do all kinds of stuff.
Let's bring this back to reality, all right? They're actually playing the Blue Jays tonight. The series with the O's is done. The Blue Jay team, is this team finally figuring out and actually becoming a scary team in the AL East?
Yeah, I think they are, and it's because they're healthy finally. They lost early in the season. Aaron Sanchez has had his blister issues, and Josh Donaldson was on the disabled list with calf issues. Russell Martin was on the DL. Jose Bautista got off to a terrible start. Well, now they're kind of putting it together, and they're healthy. And if in fact they get everybody back, including Aaron Sanchez, and back, with everybody throwing effectively, they've got the best rotation in the division, and that is dangerous. And I'll also tell you this: I mean, you asked me about the Blue Jays. Without a doubt, the sleeper team in baseball right now are the Tampa Bay Rays.
Wow.
Because in the month of May, they started playing better, 17-13. The Houston Astros hit 52 home runs, more than any team in the majors in the month of May, other than the Rays, who tied them with 52 homers. Corey Dickerson, Steven Souza Jr., Longoria. It's a really interesting, dangerous team because of the quality of the starting pitching. And we know every year when it come down to the trade deadline, the Rays don't make the moves that other teams make, but there's enough quality there where if you're the Yankees, you're a Yankee fan, you better be a little bit nervous.
Thanks for that, Buster. Only on 104.5 The Team. Buster, crazy thing going on between the Nationals and the Giants. Hunter Strickland airing out a 3-year-old grievance on Bryce Harper's hip. What was your takeaway from the brawl?
I thought when you first said that, I thought you were going to say he was acting like a 3-year-old. For a player to do that, I thought it was absolutely ridiculous and out of line. And it's interesting because some of the stuff that's been said by other folks coming out of that incident really echoes some of what I'm hearing from club executives, which is Major League Baseball needs to step up and increase the penalties on pitchers who are determined to throw at hitters, who have been determined to throw at hitters on purpose, like the other day. There's no doubt that he hit him on purpose. 98-mile-per-hour fastball, a guy standing in the box completely helpless. And, people were saying, well, Strickland did the right way, hit him in the butt. If you guys have watched Strickland pitch, or most pitchers pitch, their command's always not great. And if he had missed and hit him in the jaw or hit him in the upper back the way that Armando Benitez drilled Tino Martinez in 1998, he could seriously injure the guy. And until baseball ramps up the penalties for pitchers who do throw at hitters, and everyone knows they do it on purpose, and, tell a guy like Hunter Strickland in that situation, look, you're going to miss 20, 30 days, which obviously would stop the practice. I think we could say they're not taking it seriously, that MLB's view of these things is a little bit like the NHL in fights, in that if they're only going to suspend a Hunter Strickland for 5 or 6 games for something like that, they're kind of winking and nodding and aiding and abetting these sort of incidents, and you hope that it doesn't take somebody getting seriously hurt before they step it up.
Buster, here on the show, Gaz has been all over Bryce Harper for this. He was the guy, for charging the mound. You hated that he threw because he threw the helmet.
Whatever.
Okay.
Here's the deal, and I didn't play at that level. I don't know what it's like to get hit by a 98-mile-per-hour fastball, but I've talked with other players about this, communicated with them, and they say it ain't fun. It doesn't feel good. And I thought what we had the other day, if Bryce Harper had injured Hunter Strickland and he had been arrested, he could have pleaded temporary insanity. Because I think that's what happened, that he just so angry and so hurt that he kind of lost his mind. If you listen to his interview with reporters after the game and they asked him about throwing his helmet, some of the reporters thought that he didn't even realize that he had done that, that he had just kind of snapped. And he obviously didn't put a lot of thought into it because he threw it so badly. But I don't blame the guy for going out there, and Aaron Boone and a number of other players have said the same thing. He's completely defenseless standing in the box, and somebody fires a baseball at him. Well, I think if we really want to put a stop to this, hey, give the batters the option of running out there with a bat and then see how often they get thrown at.
Love it.
Yeah, my biggest fear about the Harper thing, and maybe it's being an Oriole fan and watching Manny Machado always somehow being involved in situations like this, that if Harper goes out there and he busts up his wrist or he gets a concussion, whatever the case may be, he's now lost for 6 weeks, 8 weeks of the season. I get the, it's catch-22. Either he's going to continue to get thrown at or he's going to get injured in a fight. But when it's a superstar involved, it's tough for the fan of that team to want to see the superstar involved.
I buy you, but to me, if you really want to prevent the injury, then really, clamp down, stomp on the guys who started it. In that case, it was Hunter Strickland. There wouldn't have been an incident if Hunter Strickland obviously hadn't harbored this 3-year-old grudge from a series that the Giants actually won in a year in which they won the World Series. That was unbelievably silly, and I thought, Buster Posey's reaction, and there are two schools of thought. One was that Buster was given a heads up that this was coming, and Hunter wanted him to let Bryce go to the mound, or, Buster just didn't go. Either way, knowing Posey through the years, I think he probably was watching and just thinking, that's really dumb. Like, that is a dumb thing. And it was, it's ironic, and, to bring it back to Manny Machado, you guys remember a couple of years ago when Papelbon drilled Manny Machado on purpose because Manny had hit a home run, and Bryce's reaction was, that's tired. And that actually led to a dugout fight between Papelbon and Harper. But I think a lot of the young players, and we heard this from Chris Bryant, they think it's stupid, and I agree. I don't know why they foster a situation in which hitters are getting intentionally drilled, assaulted, and they allow it to go on.
Buster only on 104.5, the Team ESPN Radio.
Mike Trout out in the American League. He suffers an injury. He could be missing up to 2 months. But here on the East Coast, I don't know what it is, but I've seen Aaron Judge on the Tonight Show, but not Mike Trout. Why is Mike Trout really not getting the amount of attention nationally as maybe other players in baseball?
Well, among writers and among club executives and among players, he gets a lot of attention. When you talk to baseball executives with other teams, they'll all say Trout's been the best player in baseball for about 5 years. And think about that and how rare that anybody has been able to say that. Maybe Babe Ruth, maybe Barry Bonds, but not many guys. He's finished first or second in MVP voting in each of his first 5 full seasons. And this is how good Trout is. He gets hurt the other day. It looks like he's going to have, in having surgery, he's going to miss about 6 to 8 weeks. In the statistic wins above replacement, WAR, he's so far ahead of the other players in the field, guys like Aaron Judge, that he may actually have a chance to still lead that in that stat when he comes off the disabled list. Wow. That's up. It's like he's, it's almost like he's telling the rest of the field, you know what? I'll give you guys a 6 weeks head start on the MVP conversation, and I'll still catch you. That's how spectacular a player is and how he's a preeminent player in the sport.
Buster, where's the Travel and Road Show going this weekend?
Chicago. We got the Cardinals and the Cubs, two teams trying to figure it out in the mud bog of the National League Central.
Love it. Buster, thanks for making so much time for us. We appreciate you, brother.